the little house of Greenland's glow. In the vast, endless whiteness of Greenland, where the snow stretched so far it kissed the horizon, there stood a tiny red house. It was so small that travelers often mistook it for a toy left behind by giants. But this house was no toy. It was the warmest, happiest place for thousands of miles. Inside lived Anja, a cheerful woman with golden brown hair, always tied in a messy bun, and cheeks that glowed pink from the cold. She adored living alone in her tiny home, especially because it had a secret. Every night, when the world grew utterly silent, the little house glowed from the inside with a magical light, one that wasn't from lamps or fire. The glow was from Nuka, a tiny Arctic fox she had rescued as a pup. Nuka wasn't just any fox. He had fur that shimmered with faint shades of blue, like the frozen sea under moonlight. Whenever he wagged his tail, sparkles drifted through the air and filled the house with a soft, warm radiance. Anja never figured out how Nuka had such magic, but she didn't need to. His presence filled the home with joy. Every morning, Anja opened the door and shouted into the frosty air, "Good morning, Greenland." And Greenland always answered, sometimes with a swirl of snowflakes, sometimes with a golden sunrise that seemed painted just for her. One winter, a massive snowstorm swept across the land. The winds roared like angry spirits, and the snow fell so heavy that it buried everything. Even Anja's tiny house disappeared beneath the drift. For 3 whole days, she and Nuka were trapped inside, wrapped in blankets, sipping hot berry tea and telling stories to each other. On the 4th day, something magical happened. Nuka climbed onto the windowsill, wagged his shimmering tail, and the glow in the house grew brighter and brighter. The light warmed the walls, the roof, even the snow outside. Slowly, the snow around the house began to melt, just enough to create a glowing dome where they could breathe again. But that wasn't all. Far away, a group of lost explorers struggling in the storm saw a strange sight, a soft blue light in the middle of nowhere. They followed it step by step until they reached the tiny house. Anja welcomed them inside, gave them blankets, warm tea, and a spot near the fire. They were amazed at how warm and cozy it felt, like stepping into the heart of summer. "How did you survive this storm all alone?" one explorer asked. Anja smiled and glanced at the little box curled at her feet. "Oh," she said softly, "I wasn't alone." When the storm finally ended, the explorers left, promising to tell the world about the magical little house and the woman who lived in eternal winter with a glowing fox by her side. Word spread, but Anja stayed simple and peaceful. She still shouted, "Good morning, Greenland," every dawn, and the land always answered. And every night, when people far away looked toward Greenland and saw an unexplained blue twinkle on the ice, they smiled, knowing it was just Anja and Nuka, snuggled up in the tiny house that glowed with warmth, friendship, and a little bit of magic.